I've been trading in the stock market for many years, and if there's one thing I've learned, it's that the market can be very unpredictable. I found out that if tech stocks fell right as the market started, it might have been because a major company like Apple had reported lower than expected earnings the previous evening. Any indication of unrest in the tech industry caused fearful brokers to sell shares as soon as the opening bell rang. The truth is though that the market doesn't actually affect reality, it just gauges people's attitudes and moods. But how do you beat the market? How do you pick the right stocks? And what's the strategy? Well, here is the plan. A plan to make 1,000 times returns on our stock portfolio through secrets that will always beat the system. An investor who is sitting on a portfolio is never concerned about a market fall since they place their reliance in their fact-based analysis rather than the market. Consider purchasing a stock as though you were purchasing the entire firm, just as you would a nearby store. The majority of investors don't actually research the companies that they invest in. They merely adopt the logos or brands of powerful business organizations. That's a massive mistake. Don't just think that you're only purchasing a few shares of that corporation. Know a company's true value, learn about its financial stability, and evaluate it against its competitors. Many of us are raised to believe that taking action is the key to successful investment. That hardly ever happens. The true trait here is patience. Investors should have the self-control to wait it out while everyone else in the market is rushing to purchase or sell equities. The majority of wealthy investors avoid discussing this because it sounds too routine, but it's actually quite important. Once you've identified a reputable company, you must decide if you intend to hold this stock for a decade. Only invest in things that you'd be content to have, even if the stock market were to crash for 10 years. You're mistaken if you believe that you can win the stock market game by consistently making active moves. You need to wait and make wise purchases. However, this is where our third point comes in. According to the principle of loss aversion, when the share price drops by 50%, people decide to wait. They tell everyone and themselves that it will come back for sure. Brethren, let me break it down to you, you're just consoling yourself. People will also hastily register profits when their shares increase by just 10%. In practice, investors typically sell their lucrative shares while holding on to their losing investments. In actuality, this order should be the other way around. An investor needs to be aware of when to register losses and when to take profits. Be patient. We should become attached to the reasoning behind the stock pick rather than the chosen stocks or funds. Consider selling a stock or fund if its sound fundamentals are no longer there. But how do you choose a worthy stock in the first place? Most importantly, do your research. Well, before selecting the best stock for investing, analyze thousands of stocks first. This is one of the keys to succeeding in the stock market. Once you've selected the ideal stock, wait until the share is offered at a steep discount. Determine the company's intrinsic worth by looking at its financial data, including earnings, revenue, and assets. The stock is unquestionably undervalued if the intrinsic value exceeds the market price. But be careful, not all stocks are good stocks. Nothing is cheap, especially not good premium stocks. You can be certain that a narrative is pricey if everyone on the street is aware of it. It's so simple for hot stocks to crash. They initially gain popularity as a result of the buzz that the news media generated. The feeling magnifies expectations, which will work against you. Stocks that are undervalued and uninteresting will eventually produce extraordinary results. By the way, keep in mind that no one became a Warren Buffett or a George Soros by begging for trading tips and investment advice. Take in your own knowledge and learn your own lessons. There's no other way to go about it. And if you think these tips are insane, how about you watch this video where we share incredible ways to build a multi-million-dollar online business?